Hey everyone, back again here now. We're aboard the boat, back from 2 weeks on shift. So, started to make a video here now of how to sharpen a bushcraft or hunting knife. So what we have here is a vintage Puma hunting knife. Client bought this to us to get sharpened, so we'll have a look and see what it's like beforehand. We're going to sharpen this on the Worksharp Professional Precision Adjust with the new upgrade kit that's out that goes up to the 3000 grit on the bonded on resin stones. So here's what the knife was like beforehand, so we can see what we have to start with. So as you can see, it's pretty dull. So when we get this all set up now, we'll be back and starting. So here we have everything all set up now. This is a Worksharp guided system. We have it set up with the 220 grit stone first, and we're going to take the provided inclinometer there, and we're going to set this up to the factory grind angle that Puma puts on these knives of 30 degrees. So you just adjust the rod, keep an eye on the angle. There you go. So now we know this is locked in at 30 degrees. A bit is nice and steep angle for the knife. Give it a nice robust edge. So we'll start off here now. Take this off and we'll go over the full blade of the knife like this until we build up a burr. And I'll check back in with you now when we get a burr built up. So here now we have this side of the knife completely sharpened with a 220 grit stone. So as you can see, we got a little bit of we got the burr built up and established on this edge. So now we got to take the knife, flip it over, and we'll do the other side. This Worksharp system, for a guided system for the price, can't be beat. It's portable. If you're in the hunt camp or in your tent, cabin, wherever, even the kitchen table at home, or like me aboard in my cabin here aboard the boat, you can take this out and sharpen a knife consistently and get a great edge. So all we do, same process again, start here and work your way back and forth up the knife. Do this equal number of times on both sides until you get a burr established. Once the burr is established on both sides, then we're going to move on to the next progression of stone. So I'll do this side here now, and then I'll get back to you when I'm ready to move on to the next stone. So here now we have the edge established on this side of the bevel as well in the knife. You hear it catch my thumb. So now the edge is nice and uniform and established, what we do is take a knife, or take a cloth, sorry, and just rub over that edge. And all we're doing is removing the grit that's left over from that, using that stone. So that stone we used here was the 220 grit. So now what we'll do is I like to advance up to the full progression of stones that's in the kit. That way you know you have a consistent uniform edge, constant nice uniform burr established the whole length of the blade. It takes any inconsistencies out of it. So the next one we're going to use for now is the 320 grit. Same process again. Start off. Don't have to apply a whole lot of pressure. Just rub the stone. Just press it a little bit. And when you feel that burr, you know you got it right. So we'll check back in now when this one is done. So here we are now, we're finished with the 320 grit, and as you can hear, nice strong burr all the way the full length of the blade. So again, now we'll just wipe it down with a cloth here, both sides, remove the grit, and we'll proceed to the next grinding stone. So the next one in the kit is a 400 grit. So just swap that out. We'll start with this. So what I do with all the knives I sharpen is I do the same number of passes on each side. I do sets of 10. There's no real set number to establish the burr. It depends on the condition of the blade, if you're reprofiling it, trying to do any repairs. But I find usually in sets of 10, I can keep track of it easy. I know then, okay, if I did 5 sets, I'll do 5 sets on the other side. Comes out nice and consistent every time. So we'll finish off with this one now, and then we'll come back before we progress to the next one. So we're back here again now. We have the 400 grit stone finished. So we'll wipe off the edge, and I'll show you the burr on this side now. I'll let you hear it, I should say. So as you can hear, it's nice, same sound, that grabbing of the skin sound all the way down the blade of the knife. So the burr is still consistent, nice clean edge. So now what we'll do, that was the 400 grit stone. Next one advanced to now is a 600 grit. Same purpose, start off here, work our way through the knife, same on the other side. So instead of boring you with, just watching me sharpen a knife pass by pass for a blade for the stones, we'll just check back in with each progression. So we're finished now with that 600 grit stone, and the edge is starting to polish up down like a mirror. And as you can hear, we still have that nice consistent burr. So think of that burr as a piece of wire, and every time you progress through a different pattern, different grit of stone, you're bending that wire back and forth, and eventually it breaks away. But it breaks away leaving a polished edge. That's why you go over the ceramic hone and leather strap. Those two stones between the leather strap, and the ceramic hone, they'll take away any of the little micro burrs or bumps that are left over when that burr breaks away, we'll call it, for lack of a better term, leaving you with a nice clean, crisp edge that'll slice through anything. So we're finished here now with the 600 grit, so now we'll move on to the 800 grit, and we'll get back to when we're done. So here we are now, we're finished with that 800 grit, and now we're just going to clean the knife off before we go on to the next stone. This next stone we're going to use is ceramic hone. I know it's a job to see here right now, but most of the micro abrasions that we're getting in the bevel of the edge from using the coarser grit stones are now gone. So the ceramic hone will get rid of them. As you can see, still a nice strong edge. So we'll swap out that 800 grit stone for the ceramic now, and we'll get back to you when that one's done. All the stones here I've used so far, you can use back and forth, up and down, against the edge, with the edge, doesn't make a difference. The only one that you're going to be concerned about is when you go to leather strap. With leather strap, you always want to go with the edge. That way you won't tear the leather off the backing. So this is ceramic stone. We'll get back to you now when that one's done. So I just want to zoom in here now and show you the micro abrasions that are on this I'm talking about. So as you can see, still some nice fine scratches on the edge of that burr, on the razor's edge there on the knife. So we're going to use the ceramic stone on this side. I already have it done on the other, and we'll show you how these get removed. So I'll get back to that now when we're all finished. So this stone we're using this time is a 1200 grit diamond plate, and this one here costs a little bit of water when you use it. The beauty of these is you can actually see the slurry build up on the blade as you're using it. You got a nice even edge, even line of slurry right across the front of the blade. They use water on these, recommended, so it cuts down the friction and cuts down the clogging of the stone itself. So we'll start off there now and we'll get back to you when we're done. So we're finished here now with the 1200 grit stone, and as you can see right here along the leading edge of the bevel or edge of the knife, there's a slurry built up from using that 1200 grit stone. So we'll just wipe that off. See a little bit there in the cloth right there. So what we'll do now is we'll move to the 2000 grit and come back to when we're done. Yep, getting there. So we're finished with our 2000 grit stoner now, so we'll wipe her down and then we'll progress on to our 3000 grit. So lower our rod, place it on the magnetic base, take some water, back and forth. So with the diamond stones and the ceramic stone and the coarser grits, you can always go back and forth like this on the blade. Leather hone with leather strap, however, you can only go with the blade. I'll show you that now in a second. So we're finished now with the 3000 grit stone, so we'll just wipe her down and then we'll come back over to leather strap. So this here is our leather strap piece that we're going to use, and before we touch the knife, what I'll do, go over with some green oxide compound. So just even strokes on the strap with your compound, nice and colored. There we go. So take the knife, take the arm, set it up like that. So now, what I was talking about, the strap, you always want to go with the edge of your knife. If you go against it, you'll tear the leather off of the backing. So as you can see here now in a second, we get this blade side of her done, we're going to have a nice mirror-like edge. So here's what I'm talking about. As you can see, the edge of that edge there now is mirror clean. So we'll do the same on the other side. I'm going to get back to you now when we're all done. So back here now we have that knife finished. So we went over the leather strap, and as you can see, like a mirror on both sides. Nice, clean, uniform edge. But we'll put it to the tester now. I'll make a piece of paper here and see exactly how sharp this edge is. So as you can see, it's a great improvement of what we started with. It'll be a great knife, Josh, when you get your moose this year. And thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, comment, and pass it along. Thanks again. We'll talk to you later.